Hey guys. Um, all right. My internet is sorted. Wait, is this the okay, this is match 5, right? Okay. All right. So let me know when you can add me. Oh, straight up. Oh, straight action. Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PMAC Invitational, brought to you by Three Crown Esports. The action is already, Thugger goes down immediately from Glixie there. A Mercenary Union looks like this chicken dinner could be there. ZEUS MORIS on the back foot. Faker can't seem to get his way through. Then 1 versus 2. Looks like it's trouble for the guys from ZEUS Esports. Trouble for Faker. Here, Glixie on the right-hand side. Grenade over from AliQZ. He spotted him over to the other side, but immediately Faker swaps it to the side, gets him dropped through, and goes for the clutch. But unfortunately, that will be the game. A Mercenary Union, the Mercenaries indeed, with a winner chicken dinner. Match number 5 for PMAC Invitational. And what a time to turn up in the final third. What a turnout. What a turnout. What a turnout. PMAC Invitational chicken dinner, Mercenary Union. You gotta respect it though. The fact that he did go for that finish, that is one for the books. But that is absolutely, very solid how it goes right through. And it is going to be something special. Ooh, did see a lot of action in this game. They are trying to close it down. That's a fantastic one over to the other third. They will try to lock it in, but that's a beautiful finish. ZEUS Esports finding themselves in the final 2, and Mercenary Union will take that chicken dinner. 8 eliminations to the good, and that is one for the books. Looked very comfortable. Hulk, Glixie, AliQZ, and Prison all on the score sheet here. 3 eliminations apiece for AliQZ and Prison, and 1 apiece for Glixie and Hulk. Solid finish, very solid finish for the guys from Mercenary Union. Again, they looked very, very comfortable. Again, I think they did win game number 4, right? I think they did. They did win game number 4 from yesterday, carrying over to today's match. So that tells you a little bit of what they are expecting and how things are looking very, very comfortable for them. 59 eliminations over the board, 57 knocks to follow through. And there is one more, with 6K4 total heals, 7 grenade eliminations, 27 assists, and unfortunately no vehicle eliminations in this map of Miramar. But it's not the worst thing in the world. There's still a lot of ground to cover. A Mercenary Union doing roughly 1,500 in damage points, 8 knocks to follow through, and 8 eliminations as well. And RRAGE with 1,000 for their troubles. 18 to 11 points, 23 minutes on the clock on average. I would say 22 minutes and a half for Mercenary Union and RRAGE. These two teams did put up quite a performance. Just 1 elimination separating the two sides. But Mercenary Union, that chicken dinner puts them just over the top, just ahead of the opposition. Puts them in a very, very nice niche spot and puts things into perspective for them. But 1,000 aura is your MVP, and well deserved. 4 eliminations, 700 plus damage points. I would say maybe almost 800 in damage point. Did have 20 minutes on the clock and 5 knocks to follow through as well. 500 in heals, and it's big numbers for 1,000 aura for Rescue Esports. So interestingly, this player was not in the top 2, but he did manage to get himself inside of the top draw. And you're trying to lock it in, but it's a good performance though from Rescue Esports. Going to the overall players we've seen for match number 5. 4 eliminations to the good, 3 across the board for every other player. 2 players from Mercenary Union do make it into the mix. Leo from the Donkeys also in here. Palabala from RRAGE, 3 eliminations for his troubles as well. 500 for AliQZ, owing to the fact that he did finish in the top 2. Mercenary Union used that advantage. They will close down. But 18 points, that chicken dinner puts Mercenary Union far above the rest. 11 points apiece for RRAGE and ZEUS. FINALBOSS, they will tear out in the top 3. Rescue Esports just a bunch shy of that top 3. and Donkeys in 5th place with 9. Also sharing the spoils with ZEUS, MORIS, who did actually finish in 2nd place. Team Unique in 7th with 6 points. Rejects and XFORCE sharing 4 points apiece as well. Executes with 3. More Esports in 11th and 12th with 12 esports. And 3 Crown Esports with 1 points to the board. 1 Band with 1. Neon Rising and Angry Smoke. Unfortunately, no points on the board for either of these teams. And now we see the overall MVPs. Shiva still leading the board with Reverb closely behind him, 13 to 12. But the damage is significantly wider. Final Boss does have Kiros in the mix as well. Pain for Team Execute also in the mix. The Donkeys also have Tony in that mix with 11 eliminations as well. 1200 on the damage board, 1500 for Pain for Execute again. But that is not the worst thing in the world. 1700 for Final Boss as well. Reverb and Shiva just a little bit out of reach for the rest of these other players, but it's not over just yet. For it's been 5 games. We still got 3 more to go for today's matches, so that is a lot of ground to cover and a lot of spaces to see it through. But RJC leading the board with 61 points to the good, and the Donkeys in 2nd place with 46, tied 2 points away from Double RG as well in 3rd. Mercenary Reunion in 4th with 38, and Final Boss with 38 as well. Angry Smoke with 37 in 6th, and Team Execute in 7th place with 36, and 12 Esports with 31 in 8th place. More Esports with 22, and 3 Ground Esports with 21. ZEUS Esports with 19 apiece with Rejects, and the 1 Band, Rescue Esports, Unique, and Neon will finish up the bottom 4. A lot of ground to cover though, a lot of spaces to see here, but first game in the bag, it is going to be Miramar, and Mercenary Union will take that chicken dinner. Up next is going to be Sandhawk, match number 6. Who is going to come out on top and who is going to get the job done? There is a lot of ground to cover. There's still a lot of gaps between RJC and the next place team, but there's still a lot to do. All right, showtime is the mix, ladies and gentlemen. It is the PMAC Invitational brought to you by 3 Crown Esports, and what a journey it has been so far. It has been a big shift, and we have enjoyed every single minute of it. Mercenary Union stepping up to the plate yet again. I think they did finish strongly in yesterday's game. Hopefully they carry that into today's performances as well, but it is a good game regardless. 3 more matches to the mix. Hopefully the Kenyan Pride will do more of the same as they continue their journey to get to the PMGC, going through this invitational all the way to the PMAC Grand Final in Nairobi, Kenya. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1 game down, 3 more to go. The action continues in the PMAC Invitational, so we will stay locked in, and we'll be right back to bring you some Sandhawk action.
Beautiful shot. May as well just get this down to complete. Beautiful shot. May as well just get this down to complete. Beautiful shot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Welcome back to the PMAC Invitational, brought to you by 3 Crown Esports. It is PUBG Mobile action like you've never seen it before. The PMAC is right above us, or rather right upon us. The first ever slot direct to PMGC brought to Africa, by Africa, for Africa. Big opportunity, though, you've seen. And now all of these teams, or rather all of these players, are looking for a little bit of an opportunity to get into the PMAC, or rather get into the PMGC. So this is their one-stop shop, and now opportunity for them to turn things around again. AUG from the GOAT. Fortunately, it didn't look like he was going to do much from that position. So we're going to try it out again. Trying to lock it down. Paradise Resort looks like a... Doesn't feel like Paradise. Opposition flying from side to side. They will be losing out. Will be falling side by side. Neon Rising, the first victims, and that will be the end of the road for them as well. Unfortunate scenes for them, but RRAGE will take control of the ruins. Neon Rising not so lucky, unfortunately for them. They fall to the wayside. Things will be looking very adamant for them going forward, but it's not the worst thing in the world. 3 Crown Esports enjoying Painan just south of the border there. We're going to have ZEUS Esports just north of their position. There will be a lot of ground to cover if they can't seem to find their way through. There will be a little bit of time, and MAU Esports are on the receiving end of that one. Kelvin takes a hit. He goes down as well. And that will be the end of the road for him. Back into the lobby. MORIS Sports will lose one. Vortex, Demonic, and Aatrox will be the last three left. Hopefully they will be able to find some footing here, because we do have 51 players in the cut. We're looking for an opportunity to circle back and hold the position. But the play zone is very unforgiving, you know, in a Sandhawk dispensation like this. You can see the guys from the Donkeys just trying to hold the hillside. Dybala and Tony playing up front. Fabian, the ZEUS Esports looking for a way to circle through, trying to wrestle this position away. Two teams, very, very solid with very similar play styles. Trying to capitalize on that play zone position and hold the hills. Could be one for them, you know, could be one. It could really be one for them as well. But the Donkeys doesn't look like they want this. It looks like they would rather find some shelter in boot camp, and it looks like MORIS Sports could be in some trouble here. Demonic has another of his teammates wrest away, and there will be a very big trade-off between them, as Aatrox does get knocked away, but that will not be stopping any of the action at this stage. They will try again. Aatrox does get picked up. Unique trying to hold the compound again. Punisher does get punished immediately by Vortex there. S12K straight to the skull, and that will be another opener for more esports. Unique fighting helter skelter, looking for a way to circle around these positions and work something from the angles there. Could be something for them if they can find a way through. It's all about making the right choices here. Team Unique, not a lot of options for them. They have lost 2 players. And they might be on the verge of losing 2 more. They can't seem to deal with this position left open for them outside of the corners there. Looks like Rejects now setting your sights up onto this hill position again. I'm not sure they're aware of 3 Crown Esports holding the base. Nexus and Quilla just playing a little bit on the side there. Arno says doing a little bit of hopscotch. Owner prone. He might be hearing the opposition here. He spots the left and the right. He's very visible here. He sees the first one and he does get the drop. Immediately gets punished by Ados. And that will be the end of the road for him. Immediately the flush is complete. But the trade-off is good for 3 Crown Esports. They do have better angles. They do have better positions. Grenade from Quilla, grenade from Merrick as well. They cannot allow the pickup. Lucifer peeks his head, immediately gets dropped away by another grenade from Quilla. And 3 Crown Esports, they have the numbers advantage here. They have the angles, they have the positions. And here comes Merrick, another grenade from Nexus, doesn't connect. He tries again, and he switches immediately to the S12K. Merrick gets dropped away by Anos and might be getting flushed. He does get flushed. And Quilla will come in through to wrap what is left. Oh, but I spoke too soon. And Quilla also getting swept to the side by Anos. And that is a 3-piece from Rejects X. Nexus gonna be the last one left. Can he make the job done? Paints it to the side, over to the top. S12K, can he clutch? He does. But that was a very, very close call for 3 Crown Esports, almost getting swept to the side by Rejects X. Amos was about to put them back to the back end. But that was going to be very, very unfortunate for 3 Crown Esports. That is not something they were expecting at all. Unfortunately for Rejects, the numbers advantage came in clutch for 3 Crown's favor. I had no idea how they allowed that to happen at that juncture. I'm really not certain how they allowed that to go down. But it's not the worst thing in the world for them. They do have the eliminations, but unfortunately, they no longer have the numbers. RJC now, in the open space. Ciano turns his back to the opposition, almost getting dropped away by Reverb. But the bait and switch could work here. Shiva trying to make a circle back from that northern side. He does get the open. Probably going to try again. Emperor. A big potential to lock this down. Probably gonna hold the lines here and hold the open spaces for Rescue Esports. They do have the numbers, they do have a lot of intel to work with here, but so do Rejects, and Shiva will make them shiver once more. Spiky not so lucky, he gets punished immediately there, and XFORCE will trade it off. What a beautiful spray by 1,000 Aura, but Baby was there in the corner, will get him dropped away there. Rescue Esports in need of some rescuing right now. 1,000 Aura has been knocked away. Spiky flushed down the toilet as well. Emperor and Shiano working hand in hand. Can they cover the bridges? Can they cover the corners? Reverb can smell blood in the water. They know that they can get this job done. All they have to do now is close this down. 1,000 Aura peeks out. He takes a hit. Reverb already breaking lines with DBS, and he has his teammates do a little bit more there, but he has the split line over to the right. Another drop. Emperor straight to the left-hand side, but he is no match for the DBS of Reverb, as he will be swept back into the lobby as well. They did lose Kuza in all that commotion, but that was a third party from FINALBOSS. And what a turnaround this has been. But Rejects will come out on top. 4 eliminations to the good. It is not stopping them. It is not stopping today. ZEUS as well, trying to hold the high line and an open space and an open position. Over to the other side again. And it could work if they do manage to keep everything stable here. But that is a lot of resources being asked for here, but MORIS Sports still dealing with Unique for the most part in Hathin. This has been going on for quite a couple of days now. But it looks like they are tired of the waiting and they want to deal with a madman immediately getting swept up there, getting stabbed up and shanked up by Aatrox, and that will be Unique losing yet another man. Oh, that's a beautiful grenade, and it does get the job done. Kaish going eye for eye here, but can he get the job done? Demonic has been knocked away. Aatrox again trying to circle it back, and that will be a clutch. Beautiful from Aatrox. The AUG coming in clutch with the right time, and Unique will be swept away. Esports will come out on top. 4 eliminations to them. A couple more points going their way. Good play zone we've seen. RJC looking very nice on that northern side. A couple of teams down by the west and the southwest. Easier rotation for them, but FINALBOSS also one of the teams with a little bit of a difficult path in front of them. Angry Smoke just west of their position. Probably be aware of them as well. And that is not the worst thing in the world, but it's always nice when you have a smooth transition into the zone without any obstacles. One would think that you would have some, but that is not going to be the case. Angry Smoke looking very nice in their rotation. RJC with their 4 eliminations that they did secure earlier. Looks like they will be running into the donkeys. And immediately getting punished there by Dibala. And Baby and Reverb looking for a way through. Does he go for the flush? Doesn't look like he might. Does feed a little bit of intel there, but the donkeys have all the intel here. They have all the angles covered. They have all the bases, and they have all the numbers. Baby as well trying to turn it all the way around. Ooh, that's a beautiful shot. Hancho not being so lucky. A trade-off into the corner as well. He will be getting dropped away by Reverb. And somehow this may have just turned around. Shiva, will he get picked up? He will. P90 in the mix. Tony up on the other side. The split is going to be costing the guys from the donkeys a little bit more than they would love to pay here. A grenade perfectly launched might get the job done. And it's not perfectly launched. Honcho might be getting picked up here. Tony has the sight line to cover. Leo looking for a way through. DK over to the other side. Shiva back to full strength. Trouble in paradise now. Reverb jumps right through the P90, scatters the walls and drops him immediately as well. A little bit of a peak switch, but now the S12K right into the corner. Tony gets him down. It's Reverb against Tony now in a 1v1. The donkeys over to the jump shot, but it doesn't connect as Tony will show him why he is Iron Man, and the donkeys will come out on top. And that is a finished product. RJC will go out, but not without bagging 6 eliminations, or not without DK feeling the heat. And there is time to get the job done. Over to the other side again. They will try to make this work. There will be a little bit of time to see how it could be potentially done. Ooh, what a shift we have. ZEUS Esports, this might be the one. This might just be the one for them. Occupying the entirety of the south. One band do have red line in that northwestern side. Probably going to make a rotation and occupy the entirety of the north. Keep things at bay for them and make it work through into the other side. We'll try to lock it in. And we'll try to work this out, execute. A little bit of a space to cover. This might work out for them, Mambe. Good sightline for him as well. If he can get the bases covered for execute. Looks like Swash bit off a little bit more than he can chew there. He gets punished immediately as well. It's not the finish that he was expecting. 3 Crown Esports also getting into the mix. Nexus will get a drop on Prison. Mercenary Union will lose 1 of their players. And then that will be Nexus exposing himself as well. Angry Smoke over to the other side. Nexus gets another drop on Elite QZ. Again, trains his over aspect, spraying to the side. Immediately gets punished. And Angry Smoke not feeling the heat this time. They will take the hit, execute. Getting the job done as well. That is one for the Lions. Again, over to the side. There and the open space that they have been able to secure for themselves. Tony was the one to make something special happen for the Donkeys earlier on, securing himself 3 eliminations to the good. Losing 2 of his teammates in the process. Demonic immediately punished as he hopped out of his vehicle there. That will be the end of the road for 3 Crown Esports. 5 eliminations, not the worst thing in the world for them either. ZEUS Esports also holding that highlight position. Final Boss also trying to play from the hillside. They do have RRAGE crashing the party deep into the south, and the play zone does shift towards the Donkeys. They will be blessed with this one. And Final Boss as well, equally blessed. That northern side comes in clutch for them. They're probably going to play it off into the left-hand side again. PP trying to close this down and make something special come out of it again. They will play this through. RRAGE in the front lines and the front foot. Palabala knocked away. It's not enough to turn the opposition around, but there is angles to circle through. Limo has been knocked away. ZEUS in trouble now, down to just 1. Tries to spot through, but if Fabian with the beautiful shot. And that will be the end of the road for them. And that is a fantastic finish. Tony, on the other hand, still trying to apply some more pressure. Kill count has gone up to 5 now. Donkey looking quite nice. Switchy takes a hit as well. Angry Smoke in trouble. They will lose 1. Tony going absolutely bonkers. 6 eliminations now. And he's still adding more to the tally. Still increasing the number. That will be the end of the road for him. Honcho was waiting on that move. And that will be the end of the road for him as well. Fabian. Deep into the south for ZEUS Esports, but looks like Final Boss have the entirety of the zone for themselves. Kyrios just holding smack dab center of the circle. And that would be a beautiful way for them to close out this game. We do have 4 teams alive, 7 players in the mix. And they are all looking very comfortable. Zones up onto the side, covering the bases. Every single line, every single position made to come out for Hawk here. Mercenary Union did get decimated earlier on. That will be the end for Fabian as well. And ZEUS Esports will go out in 4th. Hawk trying to make a rotation through the right-hand side. He sees the commotion. He goes on. He's spotted. He takes a couple hits there from Kyrios. But he does manage to make it a little bit closer to safety. But it's a little bit too sore now. And he will spray. It's not enough. Leo Honcho does get knocked away. It's all left to Tony now. He spots him. Surely that will be the end of the road for Hawk. It will be the end of the road for him. Mercenary Union will be going out in 3rd. Final Boss looking very comfortable now. Kyrios sees the angles, pays over to the side, and that will be the chicken dinner going over to ZEUS Final Boss. Well deserved. They played it perfectly. They held the zone by the scruff of the neck, and they did get the job done. Well, absolutely perfectly executed. They did hold out the lines there. And what a job to be done for Final Boss. Chicken dinner well deserved. Well held on as well. Looked very, very solid with the way they finished off in that one. Saw the other angles. Looked very comfortable when they did get the drop on. Fabian was trying to be a menace for ZEUS Esports, for the Donkeys as well. It was Poncho and Tony working hand in hand, but did get the job done at the end of the day. Final boss taking that chicken dinner. And they did it in style. 5 eliminations. Not the worst thing to finish out with. 5 eliminations and a chicken dinner. Good points for final boss. And it looks like they might be able to do a little bit more if they are able to see it through. A couple of good numbers. 55 eliminations. I think we had a little bit less in this map than we had in Miramar. 47 knockouts to follow. Roughly the same number of assists the last game, but way less number of heals. We had 4,000 in this map. We had about 6,000 in Miramar. And we had the donkeys with a roughly 1,400 in damage points. And final boss almost doing 1,000. Roughly call it 1,009 eliminations to 5. The Docs into the other side again. They will try to lock in. It's a good show. 18 minutes on the clock for each team. They basically tied on points. All the eliminations going the way of DK though, and that puts the points at a level. But the chicken dinner will edge final boss just over the top on that leaderboard ranking. Puts things into perspective though, but the MVP is definitely Tony. He was putting in a shift and a half for the donkeys. 7 eliminations to the good, 800 plus in damage points. Did manage 1 assist and did have 18 minutes on the clock, 4 knocks to follow through, and I'll call it 150 in heals. Well deserved, absolutely incredible performance from him, from the donkeys. Again, against that better judgment in the 1 versus 3. Reverb is in the mix as well for RJC, 4 eliminations. Fabian with 3 as well. And Double RG did have Neymar Jr. in the mix, and Monarch also in the mix for Rejects X. Take a look at that. Tied on points, 15 apiece for DK and final boss. But that chicken dinner gets the job done, puts DK in number 1 spot. And Double RG in 3rd with 8 points. Also with 8 points is UC Sports in 4th place. Mercenary Union in 5th place with 7. And XFORCE Rejects in 6th place with and 3 Crown Esports in 7th place with 5 points. 5 points goes all the way down to 9th actually for Angry Smoke. And MORIS Esports with 4 as well. And you saw the drift into the position there, top 13 from one band. And Team Unique, Neon Rising, and 12 Esports, no points on the board for those bottom 2 teams. But right now, as it stands, Shiva still in the lead. Take a look at the damage points, 3,200 and only 14 eliminations. Tony, with that MVP performance, puts him in 2nd place, 18 eliminations with a 2069 damage ratio, but he is still too far away. Pales in comparison to Shiva, but Reverb will have to take a back seat with that sheer number. 2,300 for him. Final boss does have Kyrios in there as well. 2k in damage for him. 2,100. I'll call it 12 eliminations total. And Palabala still in the mix here with 4 Double RG with 11 eliminations and 1992. Still yet to crack 2,000, but I believe he might be able to do that in this game. But with that performance, DK get themselves in the top 2 with 61 points. RJ still leading the pack with 67. Final boss also in the mix here, 53 points. Double RG with 52, and Mercenary Union with 45. Angry Smoke with 42, and Team Execute with 41. And now we do have 31 in the mix here. 12 Esports in 8th place, UC Sports with 27, MORIS Esports with 26, and 3 Crown Esports also with 26, Rejects with 22, one band, Rescue Esports, Team Unique, and Neon Rising all still sitting in the bottom 4. But it is not the worst thing in the world, ladies and gentlemen. The action still continues. 2 games down, 2 more to go. Final boss in the mix. Chicken dinner to them. 15 points is good, but is it great? RJC still in the lead It is the PMAC Invitational brought to you by 3 Crown Esports. The action continues in Erangel up next, ladies and gentlemen. But what a ride it has been, and we have had fun so far. It is Priest on the mic. 2 games down, 2 more to go. We already know what time it is, so you reach out and you stay locked in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay true to yourself. It is the PMAC. The road to PMGC has started. Who is going to cook in Nairobi? Well, this is 3 Crowns' opportunity to give you a sneak peek into the possibilities and predictions in the grand finals come 2 weeks' time. But until then, Erangel is up next. We'll see you right after the break.
Players will just get down to company point. Beautiful touchdown.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It is show time. It is the PMAC Invitational. And what a ride it has been. 2 games down, we just saw some action inside of Sandhawk. Are we going to see more of the same in Erangel? We have 2 Erangels up for the night. I think I have Clutch on the mic with me, but I'm not sure. Hopefully, we'll be able to patch him in, but hopefully, we will be able to hear him through the stream if he can sort out the mic on his end. But until then, I will be it is going to be Erangel, and it is going to be well-deserved action as we all see. Play zone cuts in from the east to the west. Yasnaya Poliana all the way down to Giorgio Paul. And yeah, cuts right down the middle. Rozok, the northern side, very, very, very much in the mix. And all of these teams have their strategies going into this game. I've seen it time and time again. Play zone, oh, it's quite nasty though. Moves over to that southeastern side, and Lipovka and Milta Power along those lines, Shelter, Prison, and Farm. Even Novo still very much in the mix, and those teams that found themselves in the western side, it is going to be a very, very, very difficult rotation for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult rotation for them because this play zone I'm looking at right now is a play zone that's going to cause a lot of chaos. Like, over half of the map is out of the zone, and 3 Crown Esports is in the fight already. I think 3 Crown Esports and Unique are trying to determine who is going to be landing in Pochinki for the PMAC finals. We have Unique taking the first kill. Unique taking the first kill. Merc is down. Oh, 2 players from 3 Crown Esports are down already, and this looks like it is going to be a clean sweep from Unique. I do know 3 Crown Esports has won 2 fights here. Oh my god, that's the third player down. Lagos is down again. We have Owner left. What can Owner do? Can he win before this? Let's see what he's capable of doing. Chris, do you think he's going to be able to win before this?
Oh, that's a nice shot. That's a beautiful shot. Those go for the clutch again. Might try to go for the third. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Punish applying a lot of pressure there, but Owner doesn't look like he's going to back away. And he spots right through into the corner. Bait and switch, forces that play into the left-hand side again. He wants to take this through. He's a DBS, but he turns his back to the opposition and he tries to take them on, but he cannot. He is absolutely sandwiched between the guys from Unique, but they do not go out without a fight. 3 Crown Esports will be eliminated relatively very, very early. They will lose out, unfortunately for them. I think it was a bad case of, yeah. I think I would blame this on the playing path. I think that I would blame this on the playing path. I don't think he gave the guys from 3 Crown Esports enough time to gather intel on Unique, and the landing positions from Team Unique. I think they had every single base covered and they fed themselves the intel, especially Punisher. He had a very beautiful off angle there and a Mini 14 with something attached to it. So he was absolutely cooking the guys from 3C. Unfortunate scenes there, Clutch, but it looks like, they still, they left here with something. 2 eliminations, not too bad. Not too shabby, but 26 points. They could do so much better.
Yeah. They could do so much better, honestly. It's kind of disappointing seeing them die so early. But to me, I believe everyone right now is trying to mark their territory for the PMAC finals. I believe that's what they are doing. We do know for sure that we're going to have a clash with 3 Crown and Unique in Chinky for the PMAC finals because none of those teams is ready to give up their dropping spots. As well, if you can notice in the last match as well, 3 Crown as well had a clash with RJC as well. So I think Ariel and Mirama is going to be a big problem for 3 Crown Esports in the finals. But let's see how well they adjust to that. I'm currently on the screen. You can see ZEUS Faker. He's scouting around, trying to gather some intel. We have the boys from one band as well in the vicinity. And I think ZEUS Faker is aware of them being in the vicinity, but I don't know what he's doing. I think he's all by himself. I can't. Okay, none of his players are close to him right now. I don't know what he's doing right now, but I think he's trying to gather intel for his players. But when I know for sure, if he gets knocked there, he's going back to the lobby.
Absolutely. If he does get knocked away, he will be going back to the lobby. But I don't think his player, this is their landing position. The teammates are never too far away, and they have pulled up to the scene. And one band are aware of this, and they will get out of dodge. So that is the right choice made by one band there. They will reposition themselves in a better spot, in a better position, and getting themselves out of dodge there, keeping themselves out of harm's way. But do they want to commit? It looks like one band wants to commit. It's going to be a bad idea for one band because Redline has sent a couple shots over to the hillside. Doesn't look like he wants to close this down as Golden Boy who has his sight line. But this is a bad idea. It's a very bad idea for one band because the GOAT is too far out and ZEUS Esports have every single base here covered. If they can isolate the off-angle man, this could work in their favor, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. As Ahmed is trying to circle back and get a little bit of that intel. Again, it's a very, very tricky spot for them to be in, but it's not the worst thing for them. Again, ZEUS Esports, again, this is their landing position. They have, the entire region of hospital locked at the back of their minds. They know how to play this terrain. They know how to play this position. And we are going to be seeing this in the PMAC finals, them playing out of this position. But the only problem is, when in play zones like this, where the zone starts to move in from the eastern side or from the western side towards the eastern side, it is going to make for difficult rotations for these teams that are going to be swept all the way, having to make cross-country rotations. Very tricky for them, but, one band do have something in the mix here. Unfortunately for Rejects, they did lose 2 earlier to said one band team. So yeah, more points on the board for either of these teams. But Clutch, what do you think? Do you think these teams will apply these exact same strategies in the PMAC Grand Finals, in Nairobi? I don't think they're going to do the exact same thing. I think this is a perfect opportunity for some of these teams to improve what they already know and try to do a little bit better with all of the information they will, gather from the Three Crowns Invitational.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like most of the teams right now are just trying to gather information about other teams in regarding the finals. I feel like everyone is doing their assignment right now, checking rotational patterns, studying the game very well so they can know what they want to play for the finals. And regarding one band, I still don't understand that play from them because I feel like they had cover, they had the compound to themselves while those were out in the open. I felt like if they had taken that fight, they had more chance to win that fight. But I don't know what was going through their IGL's mind. But I believe the zone must be the reason why they didn't take the fight. I think they're trying to rotate early because they know that the bridge are going to be in play. And crossing that bridge is going to be very, very difficult because we know a lot of teams are going to set up on that choke point waiting for easy kills. This is going to be a very, very disastrous game, to be honest. This zone is not looking friendly for anyone. And let's see what's going to happen. We have RJC here. There's one topping the table currently. We have River. Yeah, he's taking a look at the bridge. Oh my God! Wait, this is RC and Reject, right? XFORCE Reject fighting. We know how deadly XFORCE Reject is. We know currently from the position they are on the board, we can tell that they are the best team in the lobby right now. But like I said, I don't think everyone is playing to their full potential. I feel like everyone is just doing their assignment right now. And we can't wait to watch the PMAC finals.
Absolutely. I can't wait to watch the finals, but it looks like RJC have a plan here. They are trying to execute and rescue Esports once again. It might be, but call the ambulance. But not for me. Reverb back into the lobby from whence he came, and the Rescue Esports will not be taking this one lying down at all, although he was literally lying down the roof, but you know what I mean. And Baby's gonna have to try to play this one from the south again, keep a little bit of a lid on things. Nasser, RJC is a very, very tricky rotation for them to make. They have a good spot in the zone, but if they can make a rotation from here without getting spotted out, it would be ideal. Emperor also circling back, and Shiano has been spotted. He has to be very careful. He can't be hurt because the only part of his hit marker that will be exposed from that position will be his head, and Shiva will find it. He's knocked away, and knowing RJC, they will capitalize on this. They will not stop. They will crash inside the party. And I spoke too soon. That is the plan. They will crash inside. Here comes Baby now. RJC, they smell blood and they want to take this down. Over to the other side. Spiky immediately takes the hit. And the Gilly Suit will hide the opposition. Will trade him off onto the corner as well. And Nasser has been spotted. Hopefully might be getting dropped off, but that will be the P90 once again coming in clutch. Rescue Esports have been rescued back into the lobby. RJC once again breathing down the necks of the opposition. 4 eliminations to the good. A man lost, but 4 points gained, clutch.
To be honest, that was a beautiful fight there, honestly. The boys from RJC, they just keep showing us what they are made of, to be honest. I feel like right now they are the team everyone needs to really watch out for. Honestly, they are showing everybody how dangerous they are and how solid that squad is. Honestly, that is one of the most beautiful fights I've seen. They took that fight with precision and with strategy. Honest, that was what I was saying. I said the one band could have taken the fight the last time, but RJC, they saw a chance and they capitalized on that chance. Unfortunately for Rescue Esports, I think they need to rescue them from this lobby, honestly.
Rescue is right, but Mercenary Union in a little bit of a speck of dust here, because it looked like the Donkeys want this. It looks like they want to capitalize on this, though. Tony, the MVP from the previous game, looks like he wants a little piece of the action here, tossing the grenades inside, and Hulk this time will not be smashing. He will be smashed instead with a grenade by the side of the head. Prison goes thrown immediately as well, tries to break through, but the first shot over the top from Tony cracks through. A Mercenary Union in trouble right now. Tony with a sight line tries to spray. Ali QZ hops behind the shack to hide his vision, but unfortunately he will be spotted. The Donkeys smell the blood in the water. They want to close this down, and all it takes is just a little bit of Overwatch and the job will be done, and he will be trying to spake it through, but it will not be impossible. It will be too difficult to hold off all of the players from the Donkeys. They will crash this party, and this is surely the end of the road for Mercenary Union. They have done everything they can at this stage. Coming off a chicken dinner as well for match number 1, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. That's a beautiful turn of events here. It looks like we might have a third party or something along those lines to turn things around, but it looks like Execute won a piece of the action as well. They're trading off, and there is a hit on every single side. Center as well, taking one to the other side of one band.
You see what I'm saying about one band? I wish they had capitalized on that fight, and now they've got themselves in a tricky position right now. We have the boys of Execute taking a fight with one band right now. They have one band golden boy here. He's trapped already, honestly. He knows he's trapped. The only thing he can try to do is smoke up, try and get into the shack. And that shack is still not a safe space, because just one grenade into that place and it's gone. This is the thing about taking fights. If you had capitalized on your fight, by now you have had about 6 kills. And I think leaving the match with 6 kills is still putting something on the board. But as you can see, they have just 2 points and he's getting out of there. He's the last man standing for his team. Let's see if he can get somewhere safe to stay in the zone. As you can see the zone, we have Shelter, Milta, and Farm currently in the zone. And I think the boys from RRAGE have positioned themselves well in this zone. To me, I feel, oh my, that's the end of Mercenary Union, you know. After a chicken, oh my god, the boys from Donkey just showed them how strong they are as a team as well. And we have the boys from Project X here. They're taking a fight with I think Execute as well. Yeah, that's Execute. They're taking a fight with Execute. And this is the last man from Reject. Reject Lucifer is pushing forward towards Execute. Let's see what he can do. But I don't think he has the capability of taking down Execute because he's just a solo man. Or do you think, Chris?
I mean, you're absolutely right. It's going to be very difficult being, a solo player at this stage. And again, getting caught out in the open here, there's a lot of ground to cover. It's going to cost a lot if you are trying to see it through from that position. But it looks like Unique is going to be in trouble as well. One band still not stopping with the last man they've got. They are still putting in pressure. It is going to be Unique's turn to feel the heat and Execute as well, down to a single player in this region. It is Mambay onto the other side. Again, more esports do have Kelvin feeding a lot of intel here, and he has summoned the rest of his teammates to close this down. Mambe, it is curtains for him. He's gonna be spotting through, but he does get the drop, and he goes for the reload immediately, goes for the flush, and he spits right through Kelvin. Unfortunately, he will not
that was a trade-off.
done.
Yeah, definitely. He won't be able to get a kill. That was a nice push there, but unfortunately they lost one man. I wish they executed the push much more cleaner. That would have. I don't feel like they really deserve to lose anyone there. I guess he pushed too early and he got himself knocked and sent back to the lobby. We have Neon here. We haven't seen much of Neon, to be honest. I feel like they are 16th on the table with 3 points, and this is the, if I'm not wrong, this is the 7th match, I believe. And 3 points in 7 matches. I hope that's not the same energy they're taking to the finals. I'm not trying to throw shade here, Well, I just hope that's not the energy that people find out. And as you can
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
the voice
yeah,
of
Clutch, you need to chill, man. Come on, you need to chill. Come on. I mean, this is the invitational, Everybody's, like you said, everybody's doing their assignment, they're doing their homework. I think I do think it may translate a little bit, but not all the way. Angry Smoke playing a little bit slower, Execute also playing a little bit slower, but it's all part of the strategy. Zeba gets knocked away there by Frags again. Trouble. Oh wow, fragging out, executed by Frags. And Team Unique will not give up. This is one of those teams, again, that you have to look out for. This team was so dominant in the group stages of the PMAC, and it is one to look out for. It looks like Rejects setting their sights now onto the final boss. 3 players knocked away. Doesn't look like FINALBOSS is going to make it out of this one, but it looks like Nasser turned his back to the opposition. Helia gets a drop through as well. But can she go for the pickup? She turns her back to the opposition and gets immediately punished. We talk about this every single time, Clutch. You never turn your back to the opposition anytime you know that you are in a line of fire.
honestly, I felt like she had smoke in her bag. That's what you use your smoke for. But like I said, I understand the pressure, which is one of the reasons why I felt like she tried to get a buggy and wanted to crash on that. But now the boys of RJC, they've won that fight, and guess what? They are still going to be 3 man up, and that 3 man are like 10 men. We know how good this team is. But anyway, let's take a look at the fight from Neon and Angry. I think Neon right now have a chance to prove me wrong, and they are taking off. They are not even going to take the fight. But it's a good idea. I think they found a place in the zone to play. Let's just hope it is safe, because you can see the boys from Angry still taking shot at them. We have Wizard Boss looking for a perfect spot to stay. And that's not a bad position to play. To be honest, I feel like they have hard cover, and they can still try to pick out the windows and take some shot out on people rotating. They can catch people rotating. Like I said, this is going to be a very difficult zone, because you can see most of the people are trying to come into the city. But if I were the players, I think I'm just going to stay on the outskirts of the city for a while. Try to get some kills, and whatever placement I can put in on the board, I'll take that as well. But the boys from Unique are left with 1 man, Unique Frags, and we saw that unique clutch that he made against the boys from who was that? Was it? I forgot who he clutched, but he did a 1v2, and the boys from are coming to this compound to take a fight. I think they have an idea that it's just 1 man. Yeah, this is supposed to be an easy clutch. I believe it's a 4v1. Let's see if Frags can do what he did the last time. Can he frag out again? Now the first clutch, like, oh my god, it's so big. Oh my god, he got 2. Oh my god, Frags is showing us what he's made of. This is crazy. Is he gonna get the third one? Is he gonna? Oh my god, I wish he got the third one. Honestly, I was rooting for you, Frags. But that's not bad. Getting 2 knocks. Oh, he only finished 1. He wasn't able to get the other one. And the boys from Donkey are crashing on the boys from ZEUS Esports. I think they got the information from the elimination feed that they are down 2 man. And let's see what they can do. Donkey, Tony, yeah, this is a very good player. Oh my god, this is an easy clean sweep from Donkey. And the zone is pushing out already. They need to leave there.
Oh, that was actually very nasty. Third party after third party after third party. And take a look at the zone. RJC. RJC, you've seen the script before. They know exactly what kind of play zone this is, and take a look at the beautiful split they have. 2-1 split, perfectly executed. More Esports again trying to settle this score once and for all. Demonic fell for the old bait and switch. Double RG will close it down. 2 eliminations for them, and that will be the job done for them as well. Another one bites the dust. They will feel the brunt of the pressure going down. Easy pickings for them, but Clutch, you saw that engagement between Unique in the 1 versus 3 was a very tricky spot. There was it looked like he was about to pull something special, but unfortunately the numbers advantage didn't come out in his favor. But again, it's something that we also have to look out for when things like that happen. There's always going to be another team waiting on you, looking for an opportunity to capitalize. And that is exactly what the Donkeys did, giving them, the opportunity to steal a couple of eliminations from right underneath those guys. But again, big opportunity here for Double RG. They have a very fantastic position, playing out from the south of the zone. But take a look at RJC. We saw that they are holding the entirety of the zone, the entirety of the center and the eastern side uncontested. I might add, Double RG with a big game here to play on the front foot. 8 eliminations to 7 between RJC and DK. Remember, these two teams are actually chasing each other neck and neck. It is a chicken dinner that is going to be a big deciding factor between these two teams, and DK do have the numbers advantage, Clutch.
Yeah, DK. Yeah, I can see DK do have the numbers advantage. They have 4 men, while RJC has 3 men. But everything is going to come down to the position that they decide to play in this zone. As you can see, RJC has the zone covered. Like they spread themselves so well that they have a vision on every angle of the zone. I don't know how they do it, but I feel like they are very good at reading the map, and they have the only compound in the zone. So that's a plus for them as well. But as you can see, the zone went north. And now I feel like DK might have an advantage because of where the zone went to. Every other team is outside the zone. And DK and Donkeys and RJC right now are contesting for who is going to top the table. Donkeys with 9 eliminations on board, and that 9 eliminations is going to go well with the chicken dinner. That'll give them 19 points if they can win the chicken dinner with the 9 points. And we still have a lot of players in the game. As you can see, we still have a lot of players in the game. We have about 14 players in the game. So if you take out 4 of the Donkey players, we still have 10 players in the game. If they can add 10 to that, that's going to be very, very, very nice. That would be a sweet chicken dinner for them first.
Okay, let's slow down. There's no way they're adding 10 eliminations onto what they already have with RJC in the lobby. But I respect the fact that you're giving them that amount of credit. But RJC just have a lot of zone to play with, and they have a lot of intel. What makes RJC so dangerous is what they do with the intel. Let's not forget, Double RG, they do thrive in situations like this. It's going to be a hard rotation for them to make, though, because it's going to be tricky for them. Tony and the rest of the guys from DK on the eastern side. Neon Rising could be running into a very dangerous position. Doesn't look like much will be happening here, but the first drop from Wizard Boss immediately S12K straight to the neck, and Leo gets knocked away. They will try to trade off over to the other side. Again, Wizard peeks out, and Leo unfortunately doesn't look like much to do here, but he might be getting run off into the other side. And Wizard again goes for the drop. Tony falls to his knees, and that will be a big bang for the guys from DK. They will lose another one, and Double RG, in all the commotion, they use the opportunity to slip in through the cracks and steal one of the guys from RJC. Nasser takes a hit, grenade over to the top. Baby, the next victim, another grenade from Slazy. Double RG cooking right now. RJC in trouble, and now they are trying to hold it down. Palabala plays behind for Double RG. Slazy just behind him as well. Another grenade over to the top. Nasser feels the he feels the heat and he feels the pressure. Over to the side again, another grenade. It's grenade for grenade this time as Wizard continues to mount pressure over to the guys from DK, but Pew Pew trying to hold it down onto the ground floor. Baby falling slowly and surely. That will be the job done, but it's not over just yet. Nasser whips out the P90. He's not going down without a fight. He's trying to circle back. Another grenade over to the top on Honcho. Final Boss has decided to crash the party, but Nasser will not be so lucky, and now he decides to take the 1v1. Another opportunity for Beekeeper to play behind, and Honcho will be swept away, and Neon Rising will rise this time and deal with the last player from the Donkeys.
Do you know the funny thing? The funny thing is I spoke about Neon, and that is when they decided to pop off. That was a beautiful fight there by Neon, but in the midst of the commotion, we had RRG and RJC as well taking the fight, and RRG came out on top. The whole problem right now is Neon is the man down, and that's a beautiful play by Beekeeper, trying to prevent the flank from RRG, and this is going to come down to strategy, because Neon has the upper hand with the zone. But when it comes to position, I feel like RRG has taken the best position in the map. This is going to be an easy game for RRG. We have Wizard Boss being knocked down. We have 2 players left, and that, oh my god, that's a beautiful knock by. Like I said, it was going to be a clean sweep, and that was a beautiful chicken dinner there by RRG. I can't believe they took that fight with RJC and won. I was thinking they were not even going to get closer to that building, but I felt like RJC got distracted and gave RRG a chance to get closer. And as you can see, they took the chance well, and they went ahead to win the chicken dinner first.
Yeah, well deserved, RRG. And like I said, this is the type of zone they actually like. When I saw them coming in from the southern side, I just said if they can find a way through, they might be able to get the job done. And they did get the job done perfectly as well. It's very solid execution coming out from them, if you ask me. But RJC they just dropped the ball there. I really thought they could have defended that compound a little bit easier, but the fact that they had players in different compounds and there were a lot of players from different teams, and you were absolutely right. I think they got distracted up until that final third, and it cost them going forward. But it's not the worst performance in the world. They did finish in the top three. But Neon Rising, I personally believe they almost had that game, if not for the guys from the Donkeys taking them through the ringer for the most part. But 10 eliminations and a chicken dinner, not a bad call. At some point this team only had 2 eliminations, funny enough, but they somehow managed to see it all the way through to 10 eliminations. 55 total for this particular game, with 58 knocks following through 7k plus heals. A lot of healing was going down in this match as well. And a couple of more grenade eliminations too, much more than we had in the previous game. And we still have roughly the same number of assists as we had in match number 3 for the day. Aaron Gale always brings out the stats. No vehicle elimination though, but DK did put some amazing numbers up, Clutch.
Yeah, to be honest, they did. I wish they won the chicken now, but Neon was the thorn in their side. Neon took that fight properly and they executed it to perfection. As you can see, we have RRG with 20 points and DK with 14 points. If you look at the amount of damage, you can tell that DK did a lot of damage. We have 2,602 damages to 1,453 damage. That's over 1,000. That's over 1,200 different. That shows how many fights DK actually took and how many kills they had. They had 6 knocks and 12 knocks, but they were only able to finish 9 knocks. The time difference is not all that much. But like I said, RRG won the game with 20 points and DK took away 14 points from the match. And we have our MVP, Unique Frag. Yeah, this is the man I was looking for, Unique Frag did a beautiful job. 5 eliminations with 919 damage, 1 assist, survival time 17.28 minutes. He had 4 knocks and he healed 13 times. This man can be a field medic, free. What do you think?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was healing just a little bit more there. But Unique, you would think that they finished in the top draw, but they actually didn't. They were just heavily carried by this man. So that's to tell you that individual brilliance is still very, very key in PUBG Mobile, and we love to see it time and time again. But it is not over at all. Let's take a look at the rest of the teams, the rest of the players actually that did perform inside of this lobby, to give you guys a little bit of a quick snapshot of who was cooking inside of this match number 7 of this PMAC Invitational. Again, most of these teams and most of these players, personally, I think that they are picking up a little bit more, learning a little bit more, just adding to their arsenal as they advance, as we approach the grand finals of the PUBG Mobile Africa Cup. But Franz is in the front row seat with Nasser just behind him, 900 damage points as well. Big numbers for those two in front. Tony, once again, Tony is in the mix with four eliminations, and Leo with 3 as well for the Donkeys, and Honcho with 2 eliminations, 800 damage. I mean, I don't know how that those numbers happen when you have 2 eliminations and you're almost dealing 1,000 damage points. That shows that, yeah, you were very, very active. You were putting in a shift, and Honcho was putting in a shift and a half. Again, Tony is in the mix. He was the MVP for the previous game, if I'm not mistaken, for DK, and he continues on that trajectory, adding a couple more to his arsenal. 20 points for RRAGE, and now they've put themselves in the running as well to claim that top spot. Donkeys with 14, Neon Rising with 12, same with XFORCE Rejects. RJC, Team Unique, 8 points to the good, all from eliminations. And that is one you love to see. ZEUS Esports also with 4, and Angry Smoke and Execute all in the mix. One band with 3, More Esports with 2, 3 Crown Esports with 2, and Rejects X with 1. Same with Rescue Esports. Mercenary Union, FINALBOSS, and 12 Esports. Unfortunately, no points on the board for them. Clutch.
As you can see, DK Tony, you've been speaking about him highly, and I can see the reason why you're speaking about him. I mean, he has 22 eliminations. Currently, he's the one leading the overall players right now with 22 eliminations, followed by Shiva with 17 eliminations. Then we have Palabala with 14 eliminations, FINALBOSS with 12 eliminations, and River with 12 eliminations. Honestly, these players are showing us what they are made of. But DK Tony, this guy is on another level. But if you look at the damage he's dealing and the damage that Shiva is dealing, you can tell that Shiva is shooting anything that moves. Anything that comes his way, Shiva is taking it down. But Tony just has more eliminations than him. This is an interesting competition because Tony is 4 kills, or 5 kills, ahead of Shiva. And we know what Shiva is made of. He can get that in one match. But Tony is not slowing down, honestly. He really wants to take MVP over him. He really wants to take that title. And as you can see, the leaderboard is here. We have RRAGE with 79 points and DK Donkeys with 75 points. We have RRAGE with 72 points. Look at the difference between the top 3 squads. That's 7-point difference between the first team and the third team. And from there, the points start getting bigger. We have FINALBOSS with 53 points, Angle with 46 points, MERCENARY Union with 45 points, Execute with 45 points, ZEUS with 31 points, 12 Esports with 31 points, MU with 28 points, 3 Crown Esports with 28 points, Reject with 23 points, One Band with 19 points, Unique with 17 points, and Neon, they decided to come up a little with 15 points. Then we have Rescue Esports with 15 points as well. Chris, who do you think is going to be crowned champion of the African Championship Invitational?
Oh, well, with the points we're seeing so far, it is very, very tight. It is very, very close. But it is not out of reach. It is very feasible, to turn things around. So we'll see how possible it is if these 3 teams will stay this way, going into the next game, or a FINALBOSS or Angry Smoke or Mercenary will step up to the plate and apply even more pressure than those teams to those top teams that we are currently seeing. I mean, 79 to 72, 7-point difference. It is not a lot. It is very, very achievable within the confines of just a single game. But 3 games down and 3 different winners: 18 points to Mercenary Union, and 15 points to FINALBOSS, and 20 points to RRAGE. Now, 3 games in, 1 more to go. Erangel looks very, very interesting, and it looks like we are going to have our double dose of Erangel tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, it is not over just yet. PUBG Mobile action, more on the way. The last Erangel of the night to see who is going to finish on top of that leaderboard by the end of today's games. But until then, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back for the last game of the night. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It is showtime. It is the PUBG Mobile Africa Cup Invitational brought to you by 3 Crown Esports. It is PUBG Mobile action just to get you a little ready for the PMAC Grand Finals. By this time, in a couple of weeks, who will be crowned Africa's champion? Who will get a slot to PMGC? Well, in order to get there, we have to go through here, get a little bit of a sneak peek as to what we should expect in the grand final. 3 games down, 1 more to go. We're about to have a double dose, our second dose rather, of Erangel. We had the first dose and we saw the chicken dinner well served for double RG, and they did an amazing job of getting themselves into that spot. Clutch, how did you see that last game, and are you expecting more of the same in this last Erangel?
Well, that last game was a very beautiful match, to be honest. But I'm glad we're having another Erangel. You know why? Because I want to see the odd drop of Unique and 3 Crown Esports again. Currently, the score is 2-1. 3 Crown Esports took both Erangel yesterday. Now, let's see what Unique can do if today is Unique day. But speaking about the last match was very beautiful. RRG, they did what they needed to do, and they got the chicken dinner. Honestly, the most important thing they had to do was take that fight against RJC. The moment they took that fight against RJC, they did something that Neon did. They didn't waste time trying to pick up revives and try to heal up. They rotated immediately to the best spot in the game. I think if Neon had done that, they should have taken that chicken dinner. But I felt they took a lot of time attending to the wounded and attending to themselves. That would have been their chicken dinner. But RRG did the right thing, won the fight, rotated immediately, and they took the chicken dinner.
Well, you're absolutely right. But can they do more of the same? Can they do it again? We're about to find out in this double dose of Erangel. Interesting playing path we've got. The last one we did have from the east to the west coast, cutting right through the middle there. Now we have from the southwest to the northeast. A little bit of an interesting turnout here, but it looks like a Lucifer bit off a little bit more than you can chew there. One band will turn the tide on him, and that will be a first drop. Anos, if he can close this down, Golden Boy and the Goat probably have something for him. Let's try to circle back. That's a beautiful drop. And he does get 2 immediately as well. Beautiful shots from Anos there. And Rejects have the ball in their court right now. And it will be time for him to go for the flush. It would be the better idea, but he would opt to get his teammate back up instead and bolster the team strength. Good choice for Anos. Well, while all this is going on, they still have a teammate Ajar being Paradox in the vicinity. It doesn't look like much will be happening from here. Unfortunately, they will not be able to capitalize on this, but they will use the opportunity to re-strategize and reposition. And hopefully, they will be able to think twice about their next course of action. I mean, but Clutch, if that was you, would you have gone for the push? You know, knowing that you've got 2 knocks, surely that is 2 points. You know, would you have gone for that, or would you have, gone the same route, the same route of, picking up a teammate?
My teammate is not going to be offended, but I'm not picking up my teammate, honestly. I'm going to be pushing because I have 2 knocks already. That's 2 points that he gave away. And now everyone has reset. Everyone has had a reset, and this is going to be difficult again. It's like taking the fight all over again. You need two of you in the building, and I don't know if they have information that there are 3 of them in the building. You've knocked 2, you can as well take the 1v1. No one is going to be angry at you for doing that. But I think he thought taking the revive was going to be the best option, but right now they just made the fight much more difficult, and they prolonged a fight that shouldn't have been prolonged. That I think, to be honest. But let's see what the boys from Reject can do now that they have all their. I both teams playing with 3 man. I think both teams are playing with 3 man. I feel that both teams are playing with 3 man. That was the reason why he wasn't pushing. And we have Unique and 3 Crown at it again. Like I said, the boys from 3 Crown have lost 1 down already. And Unique is out of. Oh my God, don't look like the Killer. How did Killer potato that? Killer just potato that shot, to be honest. Let's see what's going to happen here. Killer is looking for a better angle. We have Nexus trying to push for that. Can Nexus get an angle on Punisher? Punisher is lying down just waiting for Nexus to make a mistake, honestly. And if Nexus can do that mistake, he's going to be punished. Please take it from there, please.
I mean, that was very interesting though from Three Crown Esports. You know, they did have a player knocked away, but didn't deter them from sticking to the script. Quilla, unfortunately, his gun was just bouncing a little bit harder than he had to, and he didn't get the job done with that off angle owner with a couple of sprays there to turn things around. Unique, you can see them circling backwards. They're repositioning. They have a lot of intel here. Three Crown Esports, can they capitalize though? This is Pachinki. There's a lot of unseen angles and unsteady positions to circle out of. Again, that could be very, very detrimental to Unique or to Three Crown. It really depends on who gets the better angle at the end of the day. But there is still more work to be done. Right now, ZEUS just outside of the hospital. This is their preferred position. Like I said in the previous map, or rather in the previous game, looks like things are broiling again. One band, they have one taking a couple more hits. Frags again will get the drop on. Nexus losing out. Frags will turn this around, and now they will be. It will become a balanced diet, 3 versus 3. And Unique did come out on top in the previous encounter. Will they be able to do it for the second time in fashion in this Erangel game? Well, we are about to see if that will be the case. But for the off chance that it is not, Frags has already bagged one. Quilla, can he capitalize though? He does have a very interesting angle, and I believe he has not been discovered just yet. Owner as well, in a little bit of a turmoil position. If he can make something happen just outside from that top draw position, it would be very, very ideal for Three Crown Esports. But right now, one band have a lot to cover on their hands. The GOAT trying to circle back, hold the lines on that first floor, and one band trying to circle themselves and get into a better spot. Looks like Ona does get a job on Punisher there, gets him knocked away, and he does utilize that off angle to perfection, and they will draw blood. Three Crown Esports, but it's not over as well. Reject will feel the heat. Paradox, I believe, was the victim of that one. He will take a hit to take another hit, and it will be flushed. ZEUS Esports capitalizing again. We talked about this clutch. It is all about your positioning. ZEUS Esports, they have occupied the entirety of the hospital base. They're all around, they're all outside. They know every single nook and cranny of this position, and now they are using it to their advantage.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, they're using the positions to their advantage, and to me, I feel like Zeus Esports is going to be the winner of the fight. If we have one band trapped in the building. We have Reject X as well trapped in the building. This was the reason why I was saying they should have pushed when they had the chance to. Now you guys are camping and you guys are not pushing each other. And guess what? You have a team that is outside waiting for whoever wins this fight to come out to them. And have all the time in the world currently to wait. So and Reject X is not Reject X. They are not fully looted. One band is not fully looted. We have two teams that are partially looted, and this is going to affect them in the long run. But let's see how it's going to go. We have Lucifer here looking for someone to burn, and he hasn't found anyone. You can't push to the other side because we have people on the field watching you. So all you're going to do is just hold one side of the building while one band hold the other side of the building. They're going to be here to the blue zone. If that is one thing I can say for sure. That is one thing I can see from this. And we have Unique and Three Crown still going at it. Merrick is down, and Merrick is gone back to the lobby. We have Quilla in the 1v2 here. Let's see what Quilla can do. They are aware of his location. I think Quilla is falling back right now because he knows that he's in trouble. He's trying to find a better position for his teammate to cover him. And let's see what Ona can do. Ona is on the other side, just waiting for the Unique player to make a little bit of mistake. And the next zone comes in, and guess what? Is in zone, and they can still wait for everything that wants to happen in that building. And we still have the boys from Unique trying to find a way to take out the remaining two players of Three Crown. This fight is something I don't understand. I don't know if it's a fight for bragging rights or it's a fight to cement who will land in Pochinki. I feel Three Crown should have been informed or should know that this is a three-man and they are 4 men because they obviously saw themselves before they got into the game. They obviously saw themselves in the lobby. So I don't know why they played it so calm. I don't know why they took their time in the fight. But I feel like they know what they are doing. Let's see who's going to come out winning this. And they have time as well because as you can see, they are still in the zone. So the blue zone is not going to do any damage to them. They can still take their time to plan the fight out and hopefully loot and get a vehicle to return when the next zone pushes.
Well, it's all about the zone. If it does push them, out from that position into a much more broader space. But again, it is something that we've always thought about. Every single rotation, every single plan, who is going to come out on top. And it looks like this might be the one here. There's a lot going on in this area. These teams have been rattling here for the most part. For the most part of this game, nobody's trying to give anything up, but you can see the action is already brewing again. And ZEUS Esports, they are capitalizing on the ideas that they have laid on this entire area. They are trying to capitalize and hold this position for themselves. Again, they are in a little bit of a split, but it looks like it's going to work out for them. And one man into the receiving end of that little corner, and the pickup is complete, and the reset is also complete here. Now, more intel to come through and more executions to follow suit. A couple of more sprays, and then that's a beautiful spray, and it almost gets the job done. But unfortunately, it will not be the case this time. More pressure from down the stairs. Again, trying to circle back and hold the lines from that top floor. The shotguns are coming out to play right now. This close quarters combat, and you already know what time it is. But it looks like that will be the end of the road for them instead, and they will not advance any further. Well, Clutch, do you think that all of these strategies apply, for a match of this magnitude, it being the last game of the day? Do you think there's more? I mean, 1 versus 2 there, the jump shot tries to spin through, but that's the end of the road for him. And now that is how you crash the party as a unit. Reject X, getting bait and switched every single time. But now, do you think that, when it comes to magnitude of games, magnitude of matches, do you think that, there's specific strategies to winning, match number 8, match number 4, or match number 12, when it comes to four matches per day? Or is it, match number 6, match number 12, match number 18? Owing to the fact that I'm not sure if we are going to have the smash rule in place for this for the PMAC. If we do have it in place, do you think that is going to be do you think it's going to add more suspense or anything, to the grand finals?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to add a lot of suspense to the grand finals. If they are using smash rules, I would even love to see smash rules being used in an African tournament. But I feel like because they are playing for, I think it's 2 days, so I don't think they might use smash rules because it's just a 2-day tournament, the 2-day final. However, as you can see in the kill feed, a lot has happened in the kill feed. I thought our MVP has been eliminated. DJ Tony has been eliminated from the match, and I think Shiva has a chance right now to rack up as much kills as he can to take away that overall top player. And regarding strategies, Priest, I feel like the only strategy to winning is rotation and go on fight. Make your rotation at the right time, so party at the right time, take your fight at the right time, and try to make sure that the fights are as clean as possible. Because guess what? People are paying attention to the kill feed. If they can tell that there are 2 or 3 players not in the fight from both teams, you are definitely getting someone crashing you. And I noticed on the kill feed as well that 3 Grammy Sport has been eliminated. Just they tried their best to take the fight against Unique, but they lost again, and that makes it 2-2. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, if they're still going to have the same issue again, because I feel like they both need to come to a conclusion and settle this. Because at the end of the day, they are both going to be hurting themselves. That's what I feel. However, this is not the final. This is an invitational. So let's see what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, let us see what is going to happen tomorrow, the last day of the PMAC Invitationals. And a lot of ground to cover with a lot of action, what we've seen. It looks like a DK. Unfortunately, Tony will not be saving them today, or rather in this match, as they've lost him. ZEUS, on the other hand, looking very comfortable in their own endeavors. And they are trying to close this down sooner rather than later. Fabian, they have 5 eliminations. It's not the worst start they've had, but they did lose a man. But hopefully it will be one they will be able to tolerate going forward. Angry Smoke. Interesting choice of perching that they've chosen just outside of ruins. It's not the most ideal, but Neon Rising on the other hand They may open themselves up to something chaotic here if they're not careful. Starting to see that a couple of these teams having the same ideas here. Looks like Neon Rising have been warned that Angry Smoke are in the vicinity. A couple of more sprays and more chaos from MLK to warn here. And now he looks like he might want a piece of this. Neon Rising trying to circle back, but that's the first shot. And a DBS to crack through, and a grenade over to the top. Turns his back to the opposition, instantly gets punished. And Neon Rising now, 2 players knocked away. 2 players left, over to the other side now. Spray over to the top, tries to get the job done. But unfortunately, too far away from his teammates, too far away to reel any sort of attack towards the guy from Angry Smoke. If he can circle back and find an open space, he might be able to get the job done. MLK with a sightline and a half. Over to that side again, spots him through, might be able to get the drop on his position. But now it is a battle of who is going to claim ruins. Angry Smoke looking very comfortable with their intel and their rotation. The spray is brilliant, but another grenade is launched over the top. And that one will break the deadlock. Neon Rising now down to just man. It's Beekeeper. Will he get the honey? No, he will not. The DBS straight to the side of his head. And that will be the end of the road for him. Neon Rising back to a 50% deficit again, trying to hold it down. The Smokes playing off to the left-hand side. They are in a little bit of a tough spot. Grenade over to the top again. Another one. A big spray with the icy. M416 cracks the skulls again. Neon Rising, baby. Ooh, too much of a hit. Too much of a cut. And that will be the end of the road for Neon Rising. Again, clutch. Neon Rising, they put themselves in these positions where they have to battle behind the lines, behind the covers. It looks like that is a very, very difficult strategy. They are trying to adapt to do better. They did better in the previous game, but unfortunately, it's one of those things where it always looks like they bite off a little bit more than they can chew when it comes to open play engagements against other teams that have, complete squads.
To me, I feel like I'm not trying to troll, but I feel like Neon is hiding their strategy for the finals. They don't want people to know what they are planning for the finals, because that can be the only explanation. Because I don't understand what they just did right now. I don't understand what they just did right now. You're aware that there are a lot of that Angry was around you, and then you take yourself out of cover. I still don't understand what they're playing, but I'm just going to say this. I feel like they're hiding their strategy. I feel like they don't want other teams to know what they have planned for PMAC finals, to be honest. And as you can see, RJC, they lost one player doing all the commotion with Neon and Angry. They lost one player, and now they're on the 3-man, but the player that they lost was Shiva. So Shiva still has a chance to catch up with Tony. Honestly, they still have a chance to catch up with Tony. And you can see DK is with 2 players now. That might have crippled them a little. I don't think they might be able to pull off a spectacular game in this match because they're down to 2 men. But we cannot write them off. That's the thing. We can't write them off. But I feel like this is going to be something. This is going to be a game that RJC is going to use to pull away from them. The only contender I see right now is RRG, because 4-man up. They have 1 elimination, and I feel like with what they played in the last match, they must be feeling motivated and they must be feeling excited to do a back-to-back. And that's not something I can write off from RRG, because they are a very wonderful team as well. Seeing them play in a couple of tournaments and a couple of competitions, and I can tell you they are one of the most active teams as well, if not one of the best in Africa currently. And we can see Execute right now, they are making a rotation. You know what, Chris, while all the teams are making a rotation into the zone, why don't we have this conversation? Let's do like a caster course. Who do you think is going to win the PMAC final?
I think it's going to be Rescue Esports. Like they're looking very good, looking very comfortable. Siano, with 1000 aura, Spiky, they're looking very, very nice, looking very solid. It looks like it's a game that they might be able to, see through towards the end. But, the play zone and their rotation style and how aggressive they can get all of these things play a factor as to how they will be performing. I'm expecting them to do a perfect job, going into that final third. But for the most part, again, there's a lot of chaos here from Team Execute. They're trying to deal with Angry Smoke, and Blade has decided to pull up to the mix to apply some of that pressure and support his teammates. Mamba now trying to circle it back, and in true words and design, and he swaps through the DBS, but unfortunately exposes the rest of his body there, gets dropped away, and Exec trying to hold his down aspect, cracks the shield and sways into the corner, immediately sways left and right, connects with the S12K and cracks him all the way down again. And it looks like Execute might be going this all the way through there. Aspect is very low on HP, but he does manage to get this one drop through, and that will be the game. Angry Smoke smoking Execute like a pack of Rothmans, and the third party is there to close the smoke as well. Another one will bite the dust. Angry Smoke back to the lobby from whence he came, but not without putting on a show.
That was exactly what I was saying. They read Zeus FINALBOSS read the kill feed and noticed that both teams were crippled, so they took their chances. They walked away with one kill there. But angry as they played this game so angry, to be honest. They played this game so angry, and they were smoking everyone in their way. Unfortunately for them, Zeus FINALBOSS has put the final nail on their coffin. But we still have 6 teams in the lobby. Like I said, we have the Donkeys, we have RJC, and we have RRAGE. The top 3 teams are still currently in the game, and I feel like they all know that the other teams are currently in the game. So I guess they're going to try to find other teams and try to wipe them away from the game. I feel like you must have made a mistake when you were speaking earlier, Priest. Do you mean Reject X or do you mean XFORCE Reject? Because there are 2 teams that are Reject.
I said Rescue Esports.
Rescue is relaxed right now. Rescue
they can make a comeback. Yeah, they can make a comeback. I believe they can make a comeback. That's what I mean. But unfortunately, they are taking hits right now. The grenades flying all over the place from them. Fabian with another one over the top, and unfortunately, they will be swept back into the lobby. Oh, spoke too soon on that one, but it looks like RJC will have their hands full here, Clutch.
Yeah, definitely. RJC is going to have their hands full, honestly. There are 4 teams left. There are 3-man up, but like I said, there are 3-man is always like a 10-man team. But the thing is, we have RRG in the building, and RRG, I feel like RRG and XFORCE Reject are enemies. They dislike each other so much. They're always looking for a chance to fight or wipe each other. And you can see Weaver just took out one of the players from ZEUS, and we have the final player from ZEUS looking for a way out of. So there are 2 players left for ZEUS. Sorry, they're looking for a way out of there. They're trying to rotate. Oh my God! Like I said, I just said the RRG is always looking for a way to come into play when XFORCE Reject is. I said it. I knew it. RRG just wiped XFORCE Reject, and I think this is the game that is going to take RRG on top of the table, because there are 3 teams left and there are still 4-man up, and they're going against duos, and this should be a back-to-back chicken dinner. I think this is going to be the first back-to-back chicken dinner we're having in the ACI. I don't think there was a back-to-back chicken dinner today, but let's see what's going to happen. We have ZEUS taking down one of the players from Donkey, and I think he's going to get knocked to the zone. I don't think there's any way he's going to make it into the zone. I think the best thing he can do is take his kill and just accept his fate. This is going to be an easy win for RRG Press. This is going to be a very easy win for them.
Yeah, it looks so comfortable. RRG with the numbers and the zone and the coverage and the intel, everything falling into place for RRG. Chicken dinner is looming and very, very possibly imminent. It is a potential 3 versus 2 here, and they are looking very, very comfortable. Got vehicles as well, and the Donkeys also. Look, they do have 4 eliminations, but it's not enough to shift the scales in their favor. But this performance also puts things into perspective for the Donkeys as well, showing every single team here that they are not to be trifled with. That's a good spray over to the top, but he's given away his position, and the shots will rain down on him immediately. Might be getting run over, but instead the Bison will make quick work of him, and now it is a 3 versus 1. The show is about to close down here. The Donkeys And the grenades flying through. Couple more will get the job done this time. He spots him and it will be blown to smithereens. Double RG chicken dinner. ZEUS Esports will go out. And it is absolutely well deserved. Absolutely incredible performance. Double RG back-to-back chicken dinner. I mean, this guy is wearing a suit. You know he meant business. You know he came to cook, and cook he did. Palabala on the mic, absolutely tearing it through. Well deserved. Incredible performance from Double RG. Back-to-back chicken dinner. And like you said, Clutch, first we've had in the ACI.
Yeah, that's the first back-to-back chicken dinner we're having in the ACI, and that was just played by RRAGE, to be honest. They know what they want to do. They put their head to the game, and like I said, they came out victorious again. The boys from Rescue, I felt like we jinxed them, but we're going to go back to that. We can see the players from RRG with 7 eliminations to be good. So that's going to be a 17-point game, which is not bad, to be honest. I feel like with that, we should have a new leader on top of the leaderboard. You see the damage from Lazy. Lazy had the damage of 317. Pew Pew didn't have any damage. I felt like he died early. We have Neema with 230 damage and Palabala with 307 damage. From this damage, you can see that most of the action did happen onto the late game. Like they prioritize rotating and prioritize getting into the zone before taking fights, and I think that really helped them in a very good way. It happened to help them win the game. I thought that was the same thing they did in the last match, because you noticed they were with 2 kills as well. That towards the end of the game, they had 10 kills. You can see the eliminations, 53 eliminations, 52 knockouts. So that tells us that everyone that were knocked out definitely got killed. They definitely got eliminated. They have total healing of 4,924. And now we have more grenade elimination, unlike the last match. You have 4 grenade eliminations, 20 assists, and still no vehicle elimination, Chris.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised. I was expecting a lot to come through there, but take a look at that. Double RG in all of their chicken dinners, they didn't do a lot of damage. Like you said, they did prioritize being alive and being in the zone over everything else, and it paid off in chicken dinners. But ZEUS was out there farming, and they turned into prime old McDonald's in this lobby. 11 eliminations to the good, and they did have 23 minutes on the clock. They did finish in second place as well, so that puts things into perspective onto the amount of points that they did manage to get at the end of the day. But the MVP is actually from a player that is not in top 2. It is a aspect from Angry Smoke, and is well deserved. 6 eliminations, 700 in damage points, 19 minutes on the clock, and a heal of 6. 5 knocks to follow through, and did get an assist. He was putting in work for Angry Smoke. I think he was the one that was anchoring the entirety of their gameplay, but to each his own. 6 eliminations. Also tying with him another 6 eliminations is Fabian from ZEUS Esports, but unfortunately just paled in comparison with those eliminations. With those damage points. Pain from Execute was also in the mix. Frags once again from Team Unique, not to be left unsaid, that he did also put himself in the mix. Thugger from ZEUS Esports also putting himself in the mix. Well deserved from the guys from ZEUS Esports. They put themselves on the map, and they show exactly what time it is. The chicken dinner, on the other hand, puts Double RG in the front foot, tied on points with ZEUS Esports, but not enough. Donkeys with 9 points. All the Donkeys, XFORCE, Rejects, and Angry Smokes 9 points apiece. That is how well they spread the points apart. Execute also with 6, tied with Team Unique. Rescue Esports with 5, One Band with 3, Mo Esports with 1, Yon Rising with 1, 3 Crown Esports, and Mercenary all with 1. Rejects X, ZEUS, Final Boss, and 12 Esports. No points on the board for them, Clutch.
Yeah, no points on the board for them. Honestly, as you can see, RRAGE and ZEUS MORIS, they both had 17 points. That's to tell you how much ZEUS was farming in the kill feed. They were farming a lot of kills. They took a lot of fights, but started at the right time, and they were able to get themselves the elimination. And what I'm after is seeing the overall top player. I knew it. Oh, damage. Shiva is has taken over the overall top play. I guess Shiva took it upon himself. If I can't catch up to the kills, I guess I'm just gonna have to do more damage, and more damage did he do. That's 4,129 damage with 20 eliminations. Tony has 24 kills with 3,051 damage. That is over 1,000 damage difference. And we have Kalabala with 16 eliminations with 2,818 damage. We have Lazy as well with 15 eliminations with 215 damage. Then Pain, Execute Pain with 13 eliminations, 2,425 damage. Now go back to Tony and Shiva. Shiva and Tony, you guys are taking it out on yourself. But I feel like with the damage that Shiva has been able to put on board, that is going to change the whole thing. And you can see, I said the RRG is on top with just 1 point. RRG on top with 1 point with 89 points, while RJC is second with 88 points. We have DK Donkeys with 84 points and Angry Smoke with 55 points. Honestly, right now, I feel like the three teams on top are just pulling away from every other person in the lobby. They're showing every other person why they deserve to be top 3. We have FINALBOSS with 53 points, XFORCE with 51 points, ZEUS with 48 points, Legendary Union with 46 points, Esports with 31 points, MAU with 29 points, 3 Count Esports with 29 points, Widget with 23 points, Unique with 23 points, One Band with 22 points, Rescue Esports with 20 points, and we have Neon Rising back at the bottom with 16 points. As we can see the table is showing us what we all know. RRG, RJC, and Donkey are currently the ones in the best game right now. And I feel like they don't care if this is an invitational, they don't care if this is just pre-match before the finals, they don't care about that. I was about to use a crossword, I'm so sorry about that. They don't care about that. But they are here to make a statement that we are here to play and we are here to win. I have MERCENARY Union with 18 points in the Mirama match. ZEUS Esports with 15 points in the stand-up match. So we have a back-to-back Erangel chicken dinner from RRG Sports, which is 20 points and 17 points, Chris. So, like I said, I asked you a question the other time, Chris. With everything that you are seeing right now, what are your expectations for the final?
You know, it's actually very interesting you said that, because now we are starting to see that RRG do love themselves some Erangel. So when it comes to the Erangel games, we're going to be keeping our eyes on teams like these that have consistent performance on a particular map. So that's something I'm actually looking forward to in the finals. If they can perform this way, then they will perform this way, hopefully, you know, when the dust has settled. But for the most part, I am definitely looking forward to the finals, to see what is going to be in the mix and how possible it is to see this through. But the action doesn't stop, ladies and gentlemen. It is the PMAC Invitational, brought to you by 3 Crown Esports, and it is well and truly on the way. 8 games down, 4 more left. Tune in same time tomorrow to catch some more action, to see who is going to be crowned the Invitational champion and use that morale to boost themselves all the way to the PMGC from the PMAC Grand Finals in Nairobi, Kenya. But until then, tune in same time tomorrow. We'll be right here to bring you more action, more chaos, and more PUBG Mobile at its finest. But until then, see you same time tomorrow. And Clutch, if you have any words for the fans, now would be the time.
See you guys tomorrow, same time. 4 matches to go tomorrow. I am not concerned about who is winning. I am concerned about the MVP. But right now, I am Team Tony right now. I feel like Tony is going to be the one going home with the MVP. But I feel like Shiva has what it takes as well, because I've seen Shiva do a lot of wonderful things in the game. But to me, I am Team Tony, and Tony, do not let me down, okay? Same time tomorrow, guys. We're going to be here, and we're going to give you some beautiful and amazing tomorrow.
Peace.